Hi everybody, welcome back to McNulty's Book Corral. Today we're going to talk about William Somerset Maugham. W. Somerset Maugham. And here is, let's see if I can pick this up without dropping it. That'd be a challenge. Here is my modest Maugham collection. So in this stack of books, we have 3 copies of The Razor's Edge from 1944, and then I have some others. We're going to talk about The Razor's Edge last, so let me set those to the side. So let's start off with Of Human Bondage, which was published in 1915. W. Somerset Maugham was born in 1874 and died in 1965. Of Human Bondage is probably his best-known book after The Razor's Edge. I think it's a wonderful book. It's a coming-of-age story. The first half is, I think, brilliant, and I think it drifts a little bit the second half, but I still think highly of this book to the point where I'd recommend it. Of Human Bondage is a book that men and women alike who are interested in classics of literature should read. And this is the recent edition, the Barnes & Noble edition. I couldn't find my vintage paperback, so I grabbed the Barnes & Noble edition, which is good that they do this. They put these out at a low cost. So we have that one, and then we have The Moon and Sixpence, which was inspired by the life of the French Impressionist painter Paul Gauguin. And I think this is also a classic, a very well-known book. One of my favorites, really. I actually like The Moon and Sixpence better than I do Of Human Bondage. Although I am fond of Maugham in general, obviously I have this stack of material. So there's 2 recommendations right away. The Moon and Sixpence was published in 1919. Yes, I have notes here I'm looking at. You didn't really expect me to memorize all that, did you? So, then we have The Magician. The Magician was published in 1908. So it predates The Moon and Sixpence. Here's the Cardinal paperback of that. I'll have scans of this popping up magically right here. The Magician is a good book. It was inspired by the life of the occultist Aleister Crowley. I'm not a fan of Aleister Crowley at all, and I've tried to read Aleister Crowley's work, and I can't get through it. I can't stomach it at all. But W. Somerset Maugham, who was familiar with the man, I don't know if he met him or not, but I think he did, wrote this book about Oliver Haddo, which was inspired by the wicked life of Aleister Crowley. I think it's a very well done book. It's a study in evil. It's really what it is. And you should check it out if you get a chance. As for, again, Crowley himself, I find him just a nothing personality from the past. A lot of people get worked up over him. They sweat. They froth at the mouth. And they go, oh, Aleister, occultism does that to people. I'm not interested in that, and I didn't like Crowley at all. But I do like W. Somerset Maugham, and so I recommend The Magician. Then we have a 1947 book. This is a first edition, Then and Now. This is a historical novel inspired by the Machiavelli, and retelling the Machiavelli story, Then and Now, as kind of a comedic historical novel. Very good book. Over time, I've come to appreciate this book more than when I first read it. When I first read it, I really didn't like it because I think I was too young, and I don't think I didn't get it, I get it now, and it's really a wonderful book. And here's, by the way, here's Mom. I have a picture of him popping up too for you. And then I have a collection of short stories, and this is Creatures of Circumstance. This is 47. Then and Now, I'm sorry, was 46. This is 47. There's a better picture of him. This is a collection of short stories. He wrote a lot of short stories. Somewhere I have a 2-volume paperback set of his short fiction. I can't find it. Things are kind of under construction and packed away here. Up at the Villa. Here is a contemporary paperback of this. Was published in 1941, so right at the onset of World War II, and this is kind of a novella, a short novel, a thriller, and it's pretty good. Not my favorite, but it's, anything that Maugham wrote is worth reading. He had a a very leisurely approach to things, but he was quite good. And then we get to my favorite. Actually, I have 4 copies of the Razor's Edge here. Razor's Edge was published in 1944. Here is a contemporary copy. And then we have a late 40s Cardinal paperback edition of this. And then we have this is a first edition, later printing first edition without the dust jacket. I do not have a first edition with the dust jacket. This is the first copy that I read of the Razor's Edge. And then I have the 1946 film tie-in edition, which features Gene Tierney and Tyrone Power on the cover. This is an excellent film, by the way. It was also remade with Bill Murray quite some time back early in his career, and I think that's actually an excellent film as well. But the Razor's Edge, I think the Tyrone Power version, if you're unfamiliar with Mom, this is a great book to start with. If you're unfamiliar with the film, this is a great film to start with. Tyrone Power and Gene Tierney. And I just think it's a wonderful movie. One of the classics, and I think it captured perfectly the book. So these movie tie-ins, in the 40s they started, really in the 30s they started putting books out with dust jackets featuring a still from the films. And they did this with the Razor's Edge to coincide with the film version starring Tyrone Power. Tyrone Power, of course, was an incredibly popular actor. So there's a couple of other things we might come back to with him. Nightmare Alley, I think, was one. I think there's an edition out there with Tyrone Power on that, which is really expensive if you can find it. But this is a good book. The Razor's Edge is my favorite. W. Somerset Maugham, the classics of literature. It's time that we talked about him. It's time, long past time, that I recommended reading the Razor's Edge. At least get to the Razor's Edge and see if you can find any of these editions out there. All right, and dig into W. Somerset Maugham. If you can't find the Razor's Edge, I would think that you could find of Human Bondage at any bookstore would have Maugham, I would think. Maugham doesn't really go out of style. He seems to cycle into the public consciousness every couple of years, and I think he's worth your time. I think he's a wonderful, wonderful writer, one of my favorites. The Razor's Edge. And until next time, I will find you yet again on the dusty trail.